Hey everybody, this video is how I did my EGR delete, complete with manifold removal and cleaning of all the gunk and buildup from over the years, as well as adding a EGT gauge, which is over there. So it's a bit in depth, so feel free to scrub past and through everything just to the parts you need. It's a bit boring, but kind of shows you how I did it. I'm sure there's other ways. I'm sure there's stuff that you may not agree with. Anyhow, take a look. Let me know what you think. First step, let's get these Phillips backed off. Give me some access to the carpet below. With the screws out, gives you enough room to pull that back. Now start peeling back the carpet, undoing the clips all the way across, get that back. Okay, that's pulled back. Note the clips. Now, pop these buttons. All right, that's all loosened off, clips, buttons undone. Now start pulling this back. Holy dusty. That's where we're trying to get to. Now take out these Phillips. All right, once all those screws are undone, pull the carpet out. That's where we're trying to get to. Next, take out all these 12 mil. And all right, start loosening off the 10 mils to giving you some access to these, and go around and take off all those 10 mil. Disconnect the electrical. And this is what we're trying to move. I'm going to start off by spraying some PB blaster on here, let that sit for a bit, and start looking to see what I have to remove for the manifold on the other side. But yeah, I guess we'll see how dirty it is once we take this off. So start that. All right. Look at that, and there, it looks like I might have a leak. All right, disconnected the electrical and the hose back here, and now I can remove this all the way out. And torque them down to about 16 to 20 foot-pounds. All right, next I'm going to be taking off the manifold and the air intake here. All right, undo these four. Loosen off this one. Give you some room here. I want to take this off. Loosen off your cruise control and your throttle. Pull those off. Loosen that one off. Pull it off. All right, cables removed. Next, I'm going to go over and loosen off the clamp down there, and that should allow me to lift this up. Okay, now with all those hoses and clamps and electricals disconnected, hose clamps down here disconnected off both, should be able to just lift that right out. Oh, there we go. That's it. Next, got to go around and start disconnecting everything that's connected up to the manifold. So I'm gonna start off by doing that, then I'm gonna move over to the injectors, get those off carefully. Over here on the back side of the engine, disconnect some more electricals and loosen off. There's a 10 and a 12 mil, which is holding the transmission dipstick. All right, loosened off a few more nuts. It's almost time to start trying to take off the manifold. I've backed off all the 14 mils on the injector side, and yeah, I'm gonna try and loosen those off, see how that goes. Next, I pulled the big harness out of the way, undid all these clips. Mine's really brittle and cracking, falling apart, so I'm gonna have to do something when I put it back together. And now I'm backing off all the manifold nuts, hopefully to get this out of there. Probably gonna have to remove injector lines now. All right, let's see what's next. Success, manifold out. Look at all that buildup. I did have to take the injector lines off, which I was hoping I didn't have to, but I did. I've never done this before. So now I'm gonna start the cleanup process. Yeah, that's gonna be fun. A few cans of brake cleaner needed, I think, for that. So let's see what's going on. Get it cleaned up. Oh, here's the manifold out. So this one here has obviously been leaking, so it's a good thing I'm doing this now. I've ordered new gaskets, they come tomorrow, but I think it's going to take me a bit longer to get these all cleaned up. Yikes! All right, started the cleaning process, bit of a painstaking one. As you can see, that one's been all scraped out, and those ones I'm working on next. So I'm just using like a plastic, rigid plastic tool just to go around and scrape everything out. And then I'll try and use some spray chemical lightly in there to get the rest out. All right, these are all as clean as I'm gonna get them. I still have to wipe down the exterior before I go to install the manifold. But I've cleaned out all of the gunk. Took me a couple hours, but it's pretty clean. I've also done the manifold. I'll show you that next. But that's probably as clean as I'm gonna get those. And here's the manifold throttle body. Pretty much all cleaned up, just needs another quick wipe as well. I've just removed the studs off of the for the EGR here. And I'm gonna put the other gasket and blank out plate here and torque those down to 16 to 20 foot-pounds while I have it out, make it easier for me. Just waiting for these gaskets to arrive tomorrow, and then this can go back in. All right, my gauge has arrived for the EGR. There's the sensor, which will go into the back over here somewhere, right there, and the lines for it. So I think I'm going to route it up in this way. I haven't fully figured that out yet, but let's get the actual probe in and see where I can run this thing. All right, a little bit of anti-seize on the threads, and with a 14 mil wrench, screw it in. New manifold gaskets have arrived, so I'm going to put those on, start putting the manifold back on. So you want to have the raised section facing out, and then slowly tighten them up by hand, the bolts, and the nuts, and then torque it down to about 15 foot-pounds. All right, gaskets on. Something to note, the vac lines that run down and around and over, you want to cap this one, but keep that one open because you're going to use that one. And do all the ones across the bottom as well. All right, I did my 15 foot-pounds all the way around. I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. and then slowly torque them up to 15. Next, I'm going to put back on the fuel injector lines. All right, everything's reinstalled. That was a pain getting all these lines back connected again. But yeah, all the electrical hooked back up, wires fished through. The ones that are going to be abandoned, like the brown, I've taped up. This one I'm going to reconnect the solenoid valve, which controls this guy. Anyway, so I've left these loose. I'm going to give it a quick crank just to try and get some of the air to the lines, and then put the manifold on. Check that sunset out. All right, by having each one of these slightly backed off, crank the engine, put a rag around them until you start seeing diesel come out one by one. Quickly tighten it up, and then you should be good to go. New manifold gasket in. Next, manifold going on. Manifold on, torque to 15 pounds. Still got to do with the hose clamps and the throttle lines, but I think I'll do that tomorrow. I think I've had enough for tonight. All right, for the vacuum line I was talking about earlier, holy sunlight. From the vacuum source up to the bottom of the black solenoid, and then out of there into the T-split, and then onto both top and bottom of the diaphragm. Sorry about the sunlight. And that's it plumbed. Hard to see. Last up was the accelerator lines. And I think that's it. I'm gonna try starting it up. All right, here we go. All right, fire back up.